There was recently a time change, which made me think about daylight savings time. Why do we have this twice-a-year time change where we change the clocks forward in the spring and then undo it and change them back in the fall? I asked a bunch of people why they thought that we had this change, and it turns out that they didn't really know. Most of them thought that it had to do with farming, and a few thought that it had to do with not wanting school children to walk home in the dark. I don't know about you, but that's not really a compelling reason in the 21st century for why we have to endure this twice-a-year time change. I know that historically many cultures have adjusted time to accommodate seasonal changes, but it turns out that modern day daylight savings time came about incredibly recently. It was first thought of in the late 1800s by this guy from New Zealand who wanted to adjust the clocks by 2 hours so that he had more time after work to collect insects. Yep, insects. Turns out nobody wanted to go along with the crazy bug guy because his idea didn't really take off. It wasn't until about 1916 that parts of Europe started adopting the 1 hour time change, and it didn't make it to the United States until the 1950s and 60s. So mostly we're doing this twice-a-year time change because people realized they wanted more daylight hours after work. I mean, my argument against daylight savings time is this. 1, we're all basically suffering twice a year because some dude in London put forth a compelling argument that we could have more daylight hours after work to work on our golf game. 2, we all want this. Okay, so maybe we all don't want to go and work on a golf game, but we all want more time after work to do whatever we want with the increasingly shrinking spare minutes of sunlight we currently have left. And 3, we should get rid of daylight savings time by implementing it continuously. I mean, effectively, when the time changes back in the fall, what happens is the sun rises during the last hour that I'm sleeping. I mean, if we were to leave the clocks alone, I would have those spare minutes of sunlight at the end of the workday. Come on, I'm not a farmer. So this spring, we could all jump the clocks forward one last time. No more time change headaches again ever. Just set it and forget it. But, I mean, I don't really have the authority to make that call, so why don't you just go ahead with whatever system your state or country currently uses, because I don't want to get any messages when you all end up late for work.